This is a bike that I've raised, and I was just really thrilled. It's the most amazing feeling to get on something you made 29 years before you guys were born, I guess, and just ride it around Fairfax. It's like, oh my God, it was a unique feeling.
Those brake levers look like motorcycle brake levers.
They are, yeah, exactly. When we first started doing mountain bikes, they weren't mountain bike levers, and we had to go to the motorcycle industry to get them.
Yeah, that's right.
These are tandem brakes themselves, and
that was my question. How receptive was componentry companies like Shimano and Centaur to the whole advent of mountain biking?
Yeah. Well, at first, you know, there really weren't any mountain bike parts. And we were getting parts, like we were saying, from motorcycles or from tandems, from touring, like touring derailleurs, and you know, as demand increased, they definitely responded. Suntour was the first one to get in on that, actually. There's Suntour shifters here. They're the first to respond. They're no longer in business. I'm not sure what happened with them. But for me, it's just amazing to see a piece of history that's still in such good condition and looking good, really. Aging well. We came out first with our Fat Chance model, and the one I just showed you is brazed, which is kind of a lower tech way to join the tubes. It uses an oxyacetylene torch, and you do the joints in brass, which is not as strong as steel. And pretty soon we got into doing TIG welding, which is the way they build BMX bikes, which are really strong. It was kind of unusual for frame builders to do TIG welding. We really got on that bandwagon really early. So we came out first with a Fat Chance, and then we came out with a model called the Wicked Fat Chance. And we would get phone calls from people saying, do you have some evil bike or something that you're selling? And maybe it was an East Coast term, I don't know, but we used to have a t-shirt that had a definition of what Wicked was.
That's right.
That was kind of fun. You're nodding like you remember that?
Well, the wicked term is definitely a mass. It's an East Coast slang for that's wicked.
Yeah.
Because, you know, that's,
right,
that's sweet.
exactly.
That is,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's another difference between the East Coast and the West Coast. So, yeah, the Wicked was really a great handling bike and appreciated by many. Then it was, I think, '89, we came up with the Yo Eddie. I'm going to turn it around so you can see it. And Yo Eddie is, he's our team mascot. A guy in a shop drew him up. And he's kind of like a smiley face with an edge. And the idea being is that when you ride a mountain bike, sometimes it gets a little gnarly, and you kind of, you just got to work through it. And so while we're smiling, we have our Yo Eddie has a Band-Aid on his chin and a mohawk haircut. He's just, you know, kind of aggressive towards life. That's what it's about. So the Yo Eddie model came out in the late '80s and really took off, at least by our standards. Mountain Bike Action wrote a review saying a new standard has been set in how a bike should ride. This is before suspension forks. This is a new fork design we've come up with, and it was light and predictable. And I came up with this term called positive handling, and nobody seemed to know what it meant. But to me, it was like there was no lag between where you're steering and where the bike goes. Sometimes there's lag, you know, it's like the frame will wander a bit or flex a bit. But the idea of positive handling was actually morphed into this kind of a marketing thing where we talked about telepathic handling. The idea being you think you're about to do something and the bike just does it. So there's no lag between the thought and the movement. And we sold a lot of these bikes. Sold really well in Europe, sold some in Japan and Australia, all across the country, and Canada. And it put us on the map more than any other bike we made, I think.
The front brake has an interesting design. The little wheel underneath.
You find an original fork on eBay, it's $1,000 at least.
Oh, for one of these forks?
Yeah, they're just like gold. They're
Wow.
just hot sought after.
Yeah.
And they're just hard to find.
Yeah.
People hold on to their Fat Chance bikes.
Yeah.
Yeah, having a meeting one day, and I was talking about how Harley Davidson had this wonderful reputation and following, and just people that talk about Harley Davidson is just, you know, it's like, if you don't know, if you have to ask, you'd never understand kind of attitude. And so I just felt like the rapport they had with their customers and the image they had out in the market was one that had a lot that I wanted to have for Fat City, and it just hit me. It's like, so well, Harley Davidson has the Harley Owners Group, the Harley Hogs they're called, and so it hit me in this meeting that we could have the Fat Cogs. It could be the Fat Chance Owners Group, and so that's what this website is. I was just about to tell you about. The Fat Chance Owners Group is a lively, still going on group where, yeah, people are selling things or trying to find things. And there's one guy who wrote in last January saying that he'd been riding his Wicked Fat Chance since 1992, the only bike he'd been riding. And so it was like 20 years, and he was getting older, and the bike was still performing fine, but he was starting to feel kind of beat up riding it. He lived in Colorado. And so he thought it was time to trade in for a full suspension bike. And he went and put it on Craigslist and got so many responses. He's kind of had this feeling of like, wow, something's going on here, I'm missing something. And so he wrote in on the Fat Cog saying, what's going on here? I haven't been a part of what this is about. And he got a bunch of responses, I don't know, 8 or 10, of people saying, don't sell the bike, just hold on to it. You'll kick yourself if you sell it. And so a few days later he responds, says, yeah, thanks so much for your input. I knew something was going on when people were writing in and saying what good foster parents they would be for this bike. And like, choose me for this bike, because I'll take really good care of it. I thought that was pretty sweet. So, yeah, they're warm in people's hearts.